was a ship named the SS Berwind. This is the story of that ship. A story which actually happened. A story of the most infamous, diabolically cunning crime in the annals of maritime history.
Over the side and lower away.
Mr. Moody, I got a message for the coroner.
Well, give it to him.
The body's to be flown to Los Angeles. They're sending a plane for it. Company just radioed in.
So you radio right back and tell them to take it easy. I'm not clearing that body till it's been autopsied.
Autopsied?
That's the law. When there hasn't been a physician in attendance, the coroner performs an autopsy. I'm sending to Auckland for a pathologist. May take several days.
Hey, Doc. How come the captain kicked off that way, all of a sudden, like?
You know, if you ask me, there's something queer about this. The guy was in the pink of health.
Well, it might have been his heart or something. Then again, it might not have been.
Meaning what?
Meaning he might have been bumped off.
Well, the thought crossed my mind.
Say, I'm getting off of this rust bucket.
I'm with you.
You fellows better think twice about this. Hey, Doc, hold it a minute.
We're coming with you.
You guys know what it means if you jump ship, don't you?
Yeah, me, we don't work for 90 days. So what?
We're coming with you, Doc. Here, welcome aboard.
The line can refuse you a berth ever.
So there are other lines.
There's no cook and no chief steward. What are you going to do now?
Got another cook? Another steward?
Well, you better do it fast. The crew's unhappy. Won't take much to set them off.
I'm aware of that, Scott.
Well, it's just I don't want to see no more trouble aboard than we've had already.
Henry Scott. His name is written in the history of the sea. It is written in blood. And no one knows his history better than I. But my story didn't begin in the sordid atmosphere of the SS Berwind. It began on the Mariposa, one of the newest and most beautiful luxury liners afloat. I was the first officer. Outside of occasionally docking in a fog like this, my life was uneventful and strictly routine.
Slow stern.
Slow stern, sir.
Slow stern, sir.
Back away. This is what you call zero visibility. Can't get much worse.
Back to forward tug, Mr. Wright.
There she goes.
Stop.
Let's slack away.
Paul. Turn on the follow screen line. All right, sir? Turn on the spray line, bosun.
Finish with engines.
Finish with engines.
Finish with wheel.
Here's with the wheel, sir.
When you're secure, put the rat guards on and knock the gang off.
Very well, sir. When you are secure, put the rat guards on and knock the gang off.
Hello, Rummel speaking.
Hello, honey.
Well, hi, darling.
Look, I'm with Mr. Adams and Vic. We're in the dining room. They called me early this morning to ask me to come down here.
Why? What's up?
But I'd rather have them tell you.
I'll be right there.
Hi. How are you?
Ed, how are you?
Vic. Good morning, Ed.
Mr. Adams?
Cup of coffee?
Yeah, thanks.
Ed, how long has it been anyway since you've been badgering us for a captain's berth?
I've had my papers for nearly 5 years. Why?
An opening just turned up, such as it is.
We're giving you the first crack at it.
It's the Berwind, beat up Liberty.
We've been under such pressure for ships lately that we had to go outside and charter from another line.
Ed, you might be smart to pass this one up.
Pass it up?
The point is, darling, there's been trouble aboard ever since she left port.
What kind of trouble?
We don't exactly know. No captain will ever own up to having a problem with his crew, you know that.
But we have heard a lot of disturbing rumors.
Darling, the captain died last night.
So?
They're not sure if it was from natural causes.
Well, I wouldn't go quite that far.
The ship's in New Zealand, Ed.
That's just it, darling. They want you to take the 10 o'clock plane out of here. It gives you, well, barely 2 hours.
I figured you'd want Joan to help you decide. That's why we asked her down here.
Yeah, of course, thanks.
Could we talk alone a minute? Would you excuse us, please?
Surely.
By the way, how come you didn't consider giving this to the first officer?
Well, Mr. Moody is 76. I'm afraid he's kind of had it.
Oh, I see.
At this precise moment, 7,000 miles away, in the engine room of the SS Berwind, Henry Scott was starting to put his insidious plan into action.
Give me a hand with that number 8 bearing, will you? Looks like they're going to pass up old Moody for sure.
That's the way it seems to add up.
I think it's a shame, a lousy shame. It was his last chance, too.
I'm with Moody. This is his ship, and he's entitled to the break. The fellas are all on his side, too.
You want to know something, Mace? The more the guys get riled up, the more I like it.
I can't figure you, Scott. You're always in there pitching, stirring up all the trouble you can. I've seen you do it.
You've got good eyes, Mace. Better than the top brass up there.
Because you play up to them guys, too. Don't think I ain't seen that.
Yeah, that's right. You know how the captain's got me in the log? Exemplary seaman.
A what?
Exemplary seaman. I seen it myself.
So?
So that's all part of my scheme.
What scheme?
Mace, I got a partner. I need another one. I think we'll cut you in. And we need a guy like you, a guy that's handy with a gun.
What do you mean, a guy like me?
I did some investigating. I found out about that liquor store robbery last June. That's something you forgot to tell the Coast Guard when you signed up. Now look, Mace. How would you like to have all the money you need? Enough to buy all the dames and champagne you want. Even a nice big red sports car. And if you're a gambling man, enough to bet the races. $1,000 a race.
What are you, nuts? What are you trying to give me?
I'm giving you $1 million idea.
Sure. How are we gonna get $1 million?
Well, we'll begin by steaming up the guys. If we can steam them up enough to start a mutiny, well, anything can happen.
Anything like... Like what?
Well, like killing the whole crew. Except you, Leroy, and me.
You mean you'd murder them all? The works?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Why would you get $1 million by doing a thing like that?
I'll tell you when I'm good and ready.
How do you know I ain't gonna go to the captain and tell him this? How do you know?
You won't. You hear me good? You won't.
They'll never jump up any first mate right smack into being master of a liner like this one. You know it.
Darling, being captain of the Berwind, is that so great an honor? I mean, is there so much more prestige than being first officer in a ship like the Mariposa?
Not necessarily. Not even more money, for that matter.
Ed, please listen to me. As things stand now, you're home reasonably often. But if you go off on a tramper like that, you won't come home for months at a time.
Darling, I'm well aware of that.
And Bobby is barely 8, and a boy like that needs his father. We both need you.
And yet a man has to go ahead, you know? I have to give them an answer.
What about the captain's death? And what about the trouble on the ship? You don't know what you might be walking into.
Look, Joan, somebody's going to take this job. Somebody like myself who's just trying to move ahead. And that somebody will view this as a challenge. Now, do you want me to be that somebody, or do you want us always to know that someone else had more guts, more ambition than I had? And then that someone else took my place on the bridge? Hmm?
School. I have to call him right away. And, Bobby can take a taxi and meet us at the airport.
Yes, sure.
Oh, darling, your clothes. You won't have enough clean clothes, will you?
Oh, I can manage where I go.
Oh, and I'll have to call about dinner. Lester's were coming for dinner.
Gosh,
It'll be such a fun evening.
Yeah.
You said the plane leaves at 10?
Yes?
I have to phone.
I'll show you where the phone is.
Ed, it's not too late to change your mind.
No. Mm-mm. If you'll excuse me, I'll just run up and get my bag.
Hey, Scott. Come here. Get a load of this.
Hey, what's up?
It's confidential.
Oh, Mace, this is my partner. We're gonna cut Mace in.
You're gonna what?
I told you we need another guy. This is him. All right, go ahead and talk.
Well, maybe we got the break we've been looking for.
You mean they're gonna pass up old Moody?
Yep, and here's the best part. They're sending down one of them gold-braided willies from one of them white ships. And a first mate, no less.
Well, this is good news. You and me got work to do. You take over from here. I'll be back.
Hey, Scott. What's all this about cutting that knucklehead in?
Come on over here. I didn't figure him for a knucklehead. Look, he won't chicken out, I promise you that.
Okay, what gives?
Well, we need help, temporarily, that is. Come on, we got work to do. Hey, you know, I think it's a shame. A lousy, stinking shame. How's old Moody taking it?
I don't know. Nearly 60 years at sea, huh? And that's a thanks he gets. Who can you figure? How?
They're flying some joker out with better connections. It's not the record that counts, it's who you look up to back at the home office.
I wouldn't go that far, Scott.
I'm going topside to get some fresh air before I vomit.
Not much time.
Okay, Vic.
I talked to the school. They've arranged for Bobby to meet us at the airport.
Yeah, it'd be terrible leaving like this without even saying goodbye to him.
Here are your tickets. Chartered plane will fly you from Auckland to Oana, where the Berwyn's anchored. It's a little settlement on the South Island. Well, goodbye, Ed, and good luck.
Thanks, Vic. It had all happened so fast. Now, suddenly, I found myself speeding to the opposite end of the globe, away from the two people I loved most, my wife, my son. Okarito didn't have much of an airport, just a cow pasture and a solitary shed. I was met by Chief Engineer Alex Cole. Also waiting for my plane was the former captain of the Berwind. He was in a pine box.
Well, there she is, Skipper. The SS Berwind in all her majestic glory.
The SS Berwind. As dirty, as miserable, as rusted up an old tub as I'd ever seen. The nearer I approached her, the more profoundly depressed I became.
There was an unhealthy atmosphere of tension. I was conscious of it even before I reached the deck. There'd been a breakdown in discipline. I'd have to take a firm hand. I glanced up into the faces of the crew. Some were merely curious. Others regarded me with sullen hostility.
Well, fellas, here's your new skipper, Captain Rummel.
I'd like to meet you all, and I will later, but we're 3 days behind schedule. The first thing is to get underway. However, I can tell you one thing. This ship is going to be clean from stem to stern. The rust scraped off, all surfaces repainted, woodwork varnished. While we're at it, I want every man to shave each day. Be presentable.
I tell you what, Skipper. If you pass out some Atara roses, I'm sure the boys will be charmed to use in their showers.
Oh, dear. I suppose every ship must have its comic. It's one of the curses of the sea, like rats and scurvy. Give me that raincoat.
They're a bad bunch, Captain. They need whipping into shape and fast.
I can see that. By the way, what was the final report on the captain's death?
Well, the pathologist tabbed it as his heart. He asked me, it was a strain he was under. Oh, the rest of the officers are here in the saloon to meet you, sir. Gentlemen, your new skipper, Captain Edwin Rummel. Russ Henderson, radio operator.
How do you do, sir?
Where's Mr. Moody?
I'll get him, sir.
Thanks, Russ. Mr. Mansard, our second engineer.
Mansard.
How do you do, Captain?
This is Tom Walsh, our first engineer.
Walsh.
Jim Osborne, our purser.
Captain?
Carl Pope, our third officer.
How do you do, sir?
Our second officer, Bull Pringle.
Captain?
Lawson, our third engineer's on duty, sir. Oh, about Mr. Moody, sir. I think he's going to be a problem.
Oh?
Moody figured the captaincy should have been his, you know, sort of by right of tradition, I
Yeah, I
guess.
can understand that.
Unfortunately, a good many of the crew seem to feel the same way.
I don't think he's going to be much help to us, sir.
He's just a burned-out hull of a man.
It's our first officer, Mr. Moody, Captain Edwin Rummel.
Mr. Moody?
Would you like a tour of inspection?
That I would. Let's get all the rust off this deck, Mr. Pringle.
Yes, sir.
Those cables need greasing.
Yes, sir.
Both the cook and chief steward jumped ship 3 days ago.
You let them go?
Well, you can't hold men against their will. Not today, you can't.
Yeah, but even so, you might have radioed the home office, given them a chance to fly out replacements.
I wasn't in command.
Under the circumstances, you could have assumed that prerogative.
I wasn't issued any orders to do so.
Well, we can't just sit and wait until they fly somebody else in from the States, or even Auckland, for that matter. We'll have to find a cook here in the village.
I made some inquiries, sir, and there's only one possibility, a Maori. But they say he's a pretty fair cook.
Grab him.
There's a catch to it. He won't go without his wife. But, of course, we could sign her on as a steward.
I'll admit we're in a jackpot, but taking a woman aboard, that's asking for it.
But what else can you do, sir? Every day this ship's tied up means $2,600 down the drain.
Well, Captain Rummel, the decision is yours.
Okay. We'll pull anchor as soon as you get them aboard. Everybody, hop to it.
All right, everybody, stand by. Hey, Scott, start warming up the lines.
Is the old man going to take off without a cook and a chief steward?
No, he's going to take aboard a Maori and his wife.
His wife?
Yeah. All right, start firing up the boilers.
He's going to bring a dame on board, huh? For this I got to see.
It had never entered my mind that the woman would be so sensuous, so exotically beautiful. I knew then that I'd started my command with a dangerous error of judgment.
Mr. Pringle! Explain that taking this woman aboard was merely a matter of economics. Make it emphatic that I forbid any familiarity with her whatsoever.
Yes, sir.
Is here, too.
Oh, isn't that a peach? This broad's a gift from heaven. All right, Leroy, you know what to do. Get to work.
It'll be a pleasure, Mr. Scott. Allow me, I'll show you to your quarters.
Raise the anchor. Mr. Moody, raise the anchor. Heave the anchor!
Well, I hope you're gonna be comfortable. What's your name, honey?
Here.
I'd hate to see a lush chick like you ruin her pretty hands in scalding water. I tell you what, I'll be back after mess to help you with the dishes personally. Okay.
Blow the whistle. I said blow the whistle! Full ahead.
Full ahead.
Hard right.
Hard right, sir.
Steady as you go.
Steady she goes, sir.
In spite of my ominous misgivings about the crew, I experienced a feeling of exaltation. At last, I was Captain Rummel, master of my own ship. How very long I'd dreamed about this moment.
Right a little.
Right a little, sir.
Ease the wheel.
Ease the wheel, sir.
You guys, not here, not here. Come on.
You guys sure went to town today. You sure did.
Them passing up on Moody was just the handle we was looking for.
You want to know something? For 10 years, I've been waiting for the breaks. Now they're starting to come my way and fast. Another thing's going to help. That well-stacked doll we got on board. We can parade her in front of these apes.
Well, Scott, he has no lousy stoop. He's done a lot of reading, you know.
I've been specializing in law. Maritime law, that is.
That's how we dreamed up the gimmick. The gimmick that's gonna get us $1 million.
This ship were a derelict and we rode her in, well, that's just about what we'd get.
Of course, with the water's at least 50% of what the ship is worth.
Yeah, the ship, the cargo, the whole works.
You're gonna murder everyone on board? Make it look like they abandoned ship, is that it?
Hey, the boy's catching on fast.
It sure is. We'll open the seacocks. When the buoyancy's equalized, one of us will dive down and close the valves.
The ship will be waterlogged, but it won't sink.
I ain't gonna listen to no more. I ain't gonna listen.
Shut up! What about that liquor store you robbed? You had a gun, didn't you?
Yeah, but I didn't use it.
So guy gave you the dough.
Oh, this is different. Sneaking up on guys you know, killing them wholesale. No.
Flash. Remember what I told you if you wouldn't play ball with us? All right, move. You want to know something? Some nights you're going to be asleep in your nice warm bunk. You're going to get lifted right out of it. When you wake up, you're going to be in the bottom of the ocean.
No, God! For God's sake, I'll come in with you! I'll come in!
There was an oppressive feeling of disaster that pervaded the ship, even to the dining saloon.
Mr. Cole.
Yes, sir?
What about that fellow who's so insolent? The one with the built-in smirk.
Leroy Martin.
Martin?
Yeah, he's one of my men, a mean boy. Pals around with Hank Scott, an oiler. Captain Moore was pretty well sold on Scott.
Yeah, I noticed that from his entries about him in the log.
Personally, I'm not too sure of the fellow.
I imagine those two would bear watching.
One thing I am sure of, that Scott is too smooth an article to ever tip his hand.
What did Captain Moore do about the situation aboard?
What could he do? Put half the crew in the brig? Go running to the Home Office for help?
No, no more than I could. I suggest that while you're on this ship, you wear something a little less revealing.
Does it bother the captain?
You know what you did last night? You cried out in your sleep.
Yeah, you were doing a lot of screaming. I don't want no part of it. I don't want no part of it.
Cry out in your sleep once more and you'll never open your mouth again, I promise you.
No, I won't do it no more. I won't do it no more.
Yeah, well, you better not.
Look, that scheme of yours is...
Keep it down, keep it down.
That scheme of yours is crazy. Insane. It ain't never gonna work. They ain't gonna pay you no $1 million just because you stick with a ship.
Listen to this, knucklehead. 1898, the Lamington case. It was the format for all salvage cases.
Tell me about the Blackwall case.
Yeah, there was a ship called the Josephine. Got waterlogged. Some of the crew rode her out.
A guy named Joe Smith. He sued for himself and the others.
They got half the value of the Josephine and its cargo.
All right, after we waterlog her, how do you know they're gonna pick us up?
Because we ain't gonna waterlog her until we're in a trade lane, you stupid jerk.
We got enough food on board here to last us for 6 months.
How do you know they're gonna believe our story?
That's easy. When they open the captain's safe, they're gonna find the log. In it, it'll tell how the mutiny was brewing.
Yeah, and that's where you come in, pal. You're gonna help us keep things bubbling and sizzling, you know? What do you think?
At 5 a.m. today, Mr. Moody passed away in his sleep. At 12 noon, we buried him at sea. The crew seemed to feel that Mr. Moody died of a broken heart. And somehow the troublemakers twisted this to make it appear as if I were responsible. It was just one thing more to fan the unrest that was brewing day by day.
Leroy is doing okay with me here. There's one thing I say about him, he sure is a fast worker.
Yeah. Let me tell you about Leroy. He can break them down fast. When he makes a play for a dame, he usually gets it.
After Mahia, huh?
Yeah.
That figures. She's a lush-looking dame if I ever saw one.
My money's on Leroy. $10 worth. Any takers?
No, no bet. Not the way we just saw him playing up to her.
Yeah, good-looking bucks like him have their pick, I guess.
Will you leave me alone?
Oh, come off it, honey. You know, it's crazy.
What's crazy?
Oh, a doll like you being tied up with that Pete guy? He's a square if I've ever seen one.
Pete's my husband.
Don't apologize, sweetheart. Just try to forget it. Now relax, baby doll, relax.
My husband finds you like this, he'll kill you.
Some things are worth dying for, honey. And this is one of them.
Go away, you go. Ow!
A funny thing, Martin's life was saved by Henry Scott. I just can't figure the man. I guess I'm in for it now. I've ordered the cook locked up in the hospital cabin. But there's nothing the ringleaders will latch onto quicker than bad food. To avoid further trouble, I've confined Mahia to the bridge deck.
No. Please, don't make me kill him. Please, don't make me kill him. I ain't no murderer.
What are you gonna do with him? We'll throw him off the stern. He's gonna scream like a stuck pig. Nobody will hear it.
As far as you're concerned, you can't throw any light on this man's disappearance.
No, sir.
Did you send for me, Captain?
Yes. All right, that'll do. There's a couple of questions that I'd like to...
Scott's next, sir. He's in the wheelhouse.
All right, wait here.
Can I talk to you gentlemen privately?
All right, come in here with us. Okay, Scott, what is it?
Captain, I've got a hunch that Mace was murdered.
Murdered? What makes you say that?
I don't know. There seems to be an influence aboard. An influence is trying to whip the guys up into a mutiny.
What evidence have you?
I found this in the paint locker. I've been going to sea for 20 years. It's the first time I've known a member of the crew to stash a gun before.
Doesn't prove anything, but it certainly is portentous.
I haven't found any bullets, Captain, but I'll keep my eyes open.
Go find the bosun. Paint locker, you see. I'd like a word with him. Okay, thank you, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Please ask Mr. Cole to come up to the bridge as quickly as possible.
Yes, sir. Have Mr. Cole come up to the bridge right away, please.
Who let Mahia out on the bridge?
I didn't notice she was out there, sir.
You know you're not supposed to be out here. I gave you strict instructions to stay in your cabin.
Oh, stay in my cabin, stay in my cabin. That's all I ever hear is stay in my cabin. I might as well be a prisoner or
Why
something.
can't you settle down with a good book or something?
Why don't I just run down to the corner store and get myself a nice book?
Seriously, if you could use a book, Captain Moore left some in my cabin. Go in there and help yourself.
Thank you very much, Captain. I'm very sorry I spoke so angrily.
It's all right.
Captain said I could borrow one of his books.
I've been doing a lot of thinking. Thinking about the skipper and that broad on board is just loaded with sex.
Yeah.
How they moved her up to the bridge deck real convenient like.
Yeah?
And her cabin's right across from the captain's.
Yeah.
I talked to the steward, or the room steward.
Yeah?
He saw her today. You know where? The captain's cabin.
Well, what do you know?
We can use this, Leroy. We'll balloon it to the sky. This is the clincher we've been waiting for.
I get it all right. I ain't the one the skippers are worried about old Pete'll bump off. And not by long shot he ain't.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna feed it to the boys. The skipper's afraid of getting a shiv in his own belly. That's why he's keeping the cook locked up.
Sure, while he's waltzing around with the dame of night, the crew's eating garbage.
I'm gonna move my deadline up. I'm gonna make it tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight.
That soon, huh?
I've been waiting for 9 years. Tonight's the night. See your hand shaking?
Ah, you seeing things?
Leroy, are you scared?
Nah, of course not. Pardon me, sir. Can you tell me where the skipper is?
He's up on the flying bridge.
Thank you.
Skipper, we'd like to talk to you.
Okay, go ahead.
What's about Pete?
Boys want you to release him.
Not that again.
Now, wait a minute. Skipper Leroy and I are on your side.
Just that we're afraid some of those hotheads down there are liable to take things in their own hands.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it's like we said before. Somebody on board here's trying to make trouble.
Will you come to the point?
Well, Leroy and me, we don't take much stock in the rumors that are going around, but,
But what?
Well, the boys been doing a lot of talking. You know, they got funny ideas.
Funny ideas?
Yeah, about what's been going on up here.
Meaning you and the doll, sir.
Are you inferring?
Yeah, but we're not inferring a thing. It's the other guys. You know that.
They blame the lousy grub on the fact that you got a reason for keeping Pete locked up. A personal reason.
Get below.
Now, look, Skipper, we
Get
don't...
below!
Captain, I think you
I
made
said
a
get
mistake.
below!
Yes, sir.
I want every officer not on duty to report to the saloon.
We questioned and cross-questioned the men and got nowhere. Most of them seemed afraid to talk. But we did find out one thing for sure. The situation aboard was explosive. Anything could happen.
It's unfortunate that Scott didn't come up with any bullets for that gun he found. Have any of you fellas got a gun?
Well, as far as I know, there's no firearms aboard, Skipper.
Oh, I've got an old German Luger, if that's any good.
Yeah?
Souvenir from the last war.
Any ammunition?
A few rounds, I think.
Get it.
Right, sir.
I can understand one or two fellows being troublemakers, but the whole crew rising up against us like this just doesn't make any sense. Now what's up?
Looks like Scott called the turn, all right.
They broken in the door and released Pete.
It's fine.
I've been going to sea for a lot of years. I never heard of a crew pulling anything like this.
It's an open breach of authority. That's obviously something we can't let them get away with.
The question is, what can we do about it?
I suppose we could use force and lock them up again.
If they let him loose once, they'll do it twice.
Here's a gun.
Of course, if the crew resisted us, we could always start a jolly free-for-all.
Okay.
On the other hand, we could tell them to fall in line or else.
Let's face it, Skipper, you're in a bind.
Get my hair down here. There's no telling what they'll try to pull. Then relieve Mr. Pringle. I want him in on the talks.
Right, sir.
There must be an answer somewhere. There must be.
For my dough, you guys are nuts. I'll second that one.
You're getting good grub, ain't you?
A lot better than you get in stir.
Do you know who's going to be waiting at the dock for you guys? The Federal boys.
With a present. 2 pair of nice, shiny handcuffs.
What do you mean, you fellas? You guys are in this. Every guy in this room. Remember that.
Get right up to your necks.
The hell we are.
This is your tea party, Scott. You and Leroy.
Yeah, what about Joe and Red Monahan, huh?
Suppose they didn't help us break the door in.
Sort of fight of you nuts.
What are you trying to do, Welch out on me?
You do all the beefing, and you expect us 5 to take the rap for you, huh? Is that the score?
We never thought you'd go this far, Scott. What you did was mutiny.
Mutiny. You kidding? Do we use force?
We try to take over the ship?
You went against the skipper's orders.
Ain't that just too bad?
And what you yellow-belly worms want to do? Go on eating that garbage?
Look, maybe we got no romance in our souls. You know what I think we ought to do? Let's form a quartet. Serenade the skipper to help him along.
If you guys had any guts, nobody'd get hurt.
We can finish the skipper for good.
That's right. All we got to do is radio to Home Office and let them know what's going on up there.
Henderson will send it fast, with a shiv in his belly.
We all sign it, and it's our word against the skipper's. You understand?
I suppose you've been briefed on the newest development?
Yeah, holding a meeting in the steering engine room.
Rather foreboding, I'd say. That's an understatement.
Anything can happen now, I suppose.
I don't get this one at all. They got their precious cook back. What more do those guys want?
They've had their first taste of blood.
Yeah.
You look very tired, Captain.
Yes, I'm tired.
I don't know about you fellas, but I could sure do with a drink.
Yeah, how about it, Skipper?
Yeah, I think this is one occasion when we'd be excused for breaking out a bottle.
I just happen to have one in my bag.
Oh, boy.
Bravo.
Yeah.
All right, Skipper. New watch took over. I tried to get something out of them. They just clammed up tight.
You've got no proof.
I haven't, huh? Sammy here will tell you.
I only saw her once in his room.
Tell him the rest.
There ain't any rest.
Come on, tell him the rest.
She went in his room to get a book, that's all.
You're lying in your teeth.
That's all there is to it, fellas. Scott offered me $50 if I would back him up. That's all there is to it.
And you conned me and Red Monaghan into bringing the cook with you because you lied to us about the skipper.
That's why we went along.
Hey, what is this all about?
Just how come you and Roy gave us such a working over about this food business?
This ain't nothing about old Moody.
Yeah. Even before the skipper came aboard, you did everything you could to whip us up.
Hey, fellas, you know something? Remember the night Mace disappeared?
What about the night Mace disappeared? What about it?
I heard him cry out in his sleep.
Gone.
Well, it was some mumble jumble about murder, and he didn't want no part of it.
Yeah, what does that prove?
Well, he cried out, and suddenly there was a silence, as though a hand was clamped over his mouth real tight.
He was sleeping in the same room with you fellas.
If you ain't lying, why didn't you say something before?
Because I don't want nothing to happen to me like what happened to Mace.
What do you got on your mind, Junior?
I think you killed him. You and Leroy.
Any of you bums believe this jerk? Oh, I get it now. We go to bat for you. Now you're gonna cross us but good, huh? All right, listen to me, all of you. When it comes to a showdown, only two guys are gonna come out on top. Leroy and me. Remember that, all of you. Come on. That sure backfired on us, didn't it?
Yeah, it sure did. The Home Office is going to hear about this mutiny, all right. But it won't be through any radio message signed by the crew.
Yeah, I know.
It's going to be in a skipper's logbook with just two names on it, yours and mine.
Leroy, we gotta beat him to the punch. Come on.
You still going through with this crazy scheme of yours?
What do you mean crazy scheme? If we don't kill everybody on board, we'll get the chair.
Yeah, but...
For what?
Nothing.
You trying to pull a Mace on me?
Of course not.
Let me tell you something, Leroy. From here on in, we got nothing to lose.
Drink, Skipper?
Please, Captain, for the 10th time, will you let me talk to the men? Maybe I can find out what's happening.
The 10th time, the answer is no.
Skipper's right, Mahee. It'd be too dangerous.
That's on the bridge deck. Why, that's got my number on it.
Sure, won't stay with one here.
Come on, let's go. Sounds like a bridge deck.
Skipper, I'll go in the galley and get the knives. Okay.
Marty! It was the radio equipment. They smashed it to bits.
Did you see who did it?
No, it was too late.
They ripped out the guts and smashed them to pieces. They even got the emergency equipment.
Not much chance of repairing that.
Not a prayer.
See if the emergency equipment of the lifeboats is still intact.
Yes, sir.
Now we are on our own.
Here it is.
Hey, it's quite an arsenal you got here.
I got enough stuff stashed down here so I can even afford to give the captain a gun. I'm going to use this high-powered rifle. Give it to me. Let's go.
Smashed the radio.
What? Skipper, this beats me. Those guys are filtering back to their cabins as if nothing had happened.
The fact remains that whoever smashed that radio had a purpose. You three, run out through the quarter, see what you can find out. And you, Mr. Wall.
Yes, sir.
Right, Skipper.
Captain, please let me go to my husband. Maybe he'll talk to me.
Okay, Mr. Osborne, go with her.
Yes, sir.
This could be the calm before the storm.
Could be.
With all that noise in the engine room, they'll never hear us sneaking up on them. Come on.
Everything's running smoothly down the engine room. No problems there.
Yes?
Here's a flash for you, Skipper. They returned the cook to his cabin. He's locked in.
What?
Some of the fellas are working on the crew. I think they're about ready to talk.
Good.
You go ahead. You're a better shot than I.
He's all yours.
Okay.
Hold it.
Run for your life!
Now we gotta find a fourth one.
Could be that somebody's just goofing off.
Up to that wheelhouse, quick.
Telegraph doesn't answer. I phoned the engine room and still got no answer.
Look. They smashed the emergency radio equipment in both lifeboats.
Trying to fix up something. We gotta have a radio.
Hold it, Skipper. Lawson! Smith! Franklin! Allen!
What is it?
Pistons are slowing down.
The rhythm? Sounds the same to me.
No. I know this whole engine too well.
motion's almost imperceptible, I'll admit that, but there is a change. What do you make of it? I don't know, but there's something terribly wrong, I'll tell you that. Wait a minute. We don't know what we're walking into. The skipper's right. We better take it easy.
Smith, too. There's a fourth man on this watch, I'll check. Franklin! 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 Franklin!
Couldn't find him. I'd better stop this.
Lieutenant, all three of them. Obviously, whoever did this must have cleared out of here, or we'd have been picked off, too.
Guess they're afraid of being bottled up in here. Just closing the main door and a couple of hatches would have done it. Skipper, they got Franklin, too. Stop! Stay right where you are, don't come down.
Stop? Why?
It's Walsh and me, Chief.
What happened down there?
Somebody on board ship has wiped out the entire watch, all four of them.
Wiped out?
Yeah, shot dead.
They're at the bridge. Tell them we'll be right up there.
Yes, sir.
These men were shot in cold blood. They didn't have a chance.
You realize the enormity of this thing?
Why? Why would anyone want to do a thing like that? For what reason?
Everything's still okay on the bridge.
Must have been Scott and Martin. Must have been them.
They're the ones who've been whipping up all of the trouble.
The crew just spilled the whole story to us.
They're convinced the two guys murdered me.
They must have completely flipped to pull a thing like this.
At least we're not in the dark any longer. We know who we're fighting. Rouse the crew. Assemble them in the saloon.
Why not sound the alarm, sir?
No, that's the last thing I do. The men will race for the lifeboats and be picked off as soon as they reach the deck.
Oh, Lord knows some of them may have already been shot.
Mr. Pringle, go to the bridge, get the men on watch to assemble in the saloon. Mr. Mansard, yes. Warn the men on the boat deck. Mr. Walsh, take the port corridor. Mr. Gould, take the starboard.
Everybody out! It's an emergency! Get out! Get out! It's an emergency! Go to the saloon! Get out! Get out! Emergency! Get to the saloon! Get out! Get to the saloon!
Mr. Pringle. Mr. Pringle. Pull those curtains down there. Mr. Pringle, take an immediate count of the men. Yes, sir. Any one of us may be next. You'll realize that. This one gun isn't much defense against a couple of snipers shooting at us out of the darkness.
Hey, Skipper, where's Jim
If
Elliott?
these men are using guerrilla tactics, every man on the ship is a clay pigeon.
Let's face it, they've got every advantage.
Guys, this Vicious could take pot shots at us anytime they damn well please.
Sure. What are you going to do about it? That's what I want to know.
Scott and Martin are missing, of course.
That should pinpoint the guys.
As if they needed pinpointing at this
Anybody
time.
see Jim Elliott? He went to stern, sir, for a reading of the log.
That leaves only Pete and Mahia, of course, in her cabin on the boat deck.
In her cabin?
Yes, when things eased off, I told her she'd go to her cabin.
Phone the stern. Alert Elliot. Get him here fast.
Right.
Caution him to keep under cover.
Right.
Mr. Pringle, you go for Pete. I'm going for Mahia myself. On second thoughts, the gun should stay here with the men. It's the only protection they've got. Mr. Osborne, you hold it.
Yes, sir.
You stay here. I'm going to take a look around.
We got the guns. What can they do? Why don't we storm them? Get it over with it.
Suppose one of them's got a gun with bullets.
Now you think of that, huh?
I've thought of everything, Leroy. I'm going to start with a bridge and work down.
Mahir! Mahir!
Who's there? What is it?
It's Captain Rommel. This is an emergency. Let me in, quickly. Get your clothes on, quick.
What's happened?
Quick. Scott and Martin have gone berserk. They've killed 4 men already. Hurry, hurry. Now keep it quiet. Down the saloon. Quick!
Back up. Let him in. Here they come. What happened? What happened?
It was Scott.
Did you get him?
No, I didn't get him.
Watch that other door. What are we going to do now?
We should never find out.
What about Elliot and Pope? They're not back yet.
He went out, sir.
When he phoned Elliot, there was no answer.
Yeah, we're trying to stop him. He wouldn't listen.
That shot came from back aft.
Scott couldn't have gotten back there that fast. Must have been Martin.
Martin?
Martin. Leroy Martin. I should have killed you.
This time I won't miss!
Hey, come back here!
It was Pete!
Wait a minute. Hold on.
It's Pope, sir. He's hurt and hurt bad.
I'll get it. Carl. Come here. There we go.
We'll need some hot water. They're in here.
Ease him over the sill. That's it.
Emergency equipment.
I'll get it. What's to prevent them from charging in here and mowing us all down?
It's that. I'm luckier than Elliot and Pete.
Watch your head.
Both dead? Yes.
Pete, where is he? I've got to go to him. I've got to go to him.
Believe me, I know how you feel. There'll be suicide going out there.
But he might die if nobody gets to him. Do you understand? He might die.
He may be right, sir. I'll go.
No one's to go out on that deck.
But those guns, they can wipe us out anytime they want to.
Pipe down, everyone. Keep an eye on that door.
But if he can be saved and nobody goes to him, then you will have killed him. You will have killed him.
I'm not going to sacrifice any more lives on the off chance that one man can be saved.
No. You won't let anybody go to him. Because you know they'll show you up, and you're the captain. You're the one that should do it, but you're afraid.
That's enough.
You're a coward. You're a dirty, rotten, stinking coward.
We're sitting ducks. Yeah, we'll be picked off one by one.
All right, take it easy, fellas. Take it easy.
No one has a chance.
How can you fight guys who are shooting at you from out of the dock, huh?
Oh, come off of it, you guys. What are you, a bunch of hysterical dames?
These men are on the verge of mass hysteria.
They're getting out of control fast, dangerously so.
Hold it! Hold it! This has gone far enough. Stop it! Mr. Osborne, help Henderson. Mr. Pringle, stay by the door.
Well, I'm with Sammy. Get out while the getting is good. Well, if we don't, we'll be carried off in a box like poor old Captain Moore.
What are you guys? A lot of rats deserting a sinking ship?
Nuts to him! Let's get out of here!
Nobody leaves!
I can stop him with this, sir.
No. We let him get off in the boat. It's the best thing. All right, men. You leave by this door. Go by the companionway to the starboard lifeboat. It'll hold you all.
Let's go. If there's any thought in your mind, sir, of having them go to the boat like in an orderly fashion, forget it.
Go! We'll give them some protection. We better use the ladder and get up to our head.
Right.
Hold it! 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 The minute you step out on this deck, you're a perfect target. I'll do what I can to cover you with this gun. But you're to lower that lifeboat as quickly as you can. Now! Move! Hurry! You're to pull out until the lifeboat is out of rifle range. Then wait there for further orders.
Go to your stations. Stand by your line.
Where's Popin? Right here.
Still in the saloon. I guess I'll go get them.
No!
Go
Take
get
the
the
gun.
davits.
Right.
Keep those lines clear. Keep the lines clear, men.
Where's Mahir?
She went to find her husband. I tried to stop her, but I couldn't.
Lowering the boat.
Mr. Walsh.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mansard, give a hand here.
We're ready to lower the lifeboat, sir.
Okay. We'll go up to the bridge. Keep a better lookout.
I'll lower
Yes,
it
sir.
easy.
Yeah, it's okay.
All officers, this way. Only 2 or 3 of us should stay aboard to fight this thing through. Any more unarmed men than that would be a liability. Now, the decision to remain here with me must be completely voluntary. You all know the odds. There's not much chance of any of us coming out of this alive. Okay, I want 2 officers to take command of the lifeboat.
I'm single, sir. I'd like to stay.
Okay.
I have a wife and 3 children, sir.
Mr. Osborne, you get in the lifeboat.
I have a wife but no children.
I'm with you, Skipper.
You don't get rid of me, Skipper.
Okay, Mr. Mansard, join Mr. Osborne. Hurry up with the boat.
Come on, let's load the boat. Let's go up in the boat. Everybody, here we go. All right, give him a hand, Miller.
For your information, my gun is aimed right at Mejia's head. I want the captain, the officers, and the crew to leave this ship. That's an order. If it's not obeyed, I'll pull the trigger and Mejia will be dead. And you, Captain Rummel, will be the murderer. That time I aimed at the stanchion. The next time it'll be your head. You've got 60 seconds to make up your mind. 60 seconds. That's your deadline.
My brain raced feverishly, exploring every frantic possibility. Yet, those fateful seconds kept ticking on, and I had no answer. Then, an idea struck me. It was a desperate, last-measure thought, but it might work.
Mr. Pope! Mr. Pope! Before Elliot was shot, did he pull in the log?
I don't know, Skipper. I don't know. I don't remember seeing it on the deck.
You've only got a couple of seconds, sir. What are they doing?
Nothing, they're just standing there.
Okay, Scott, you win. Abandon ship, Lower the lifeboats. The rest of us will use the Jacob's ladder.
Well, they're getting in the lifeboat.
Mr. Mansard, you'll take this
We're
Jacob's
going in
ladder.
the boat!
You better get in.
Yeah, they're starting to lower it. Yeah, they mean it.
The taffrail log is a little gizmo dragged behind the ship to compute the speed of travel. Elliot had gone back to take a reading. If the log was still in the water, there was a possibility I could use the rope attached to it to climb back aboard the Berwind.
Mahia! Mahia, come here.
I don't like it. Why don't we shoot them like we planned?
Are you kidding? Those guys won't stand still. They'll be mowed down. One shot and they'd all scatter.
So they only got one gun. They can't hit us in the dark.
Why do it the hard way? You're not using your head, Leroy.
Supposing a lifeboat's picked up, what then?
They won't be picked up. Not alive. Come on.
Relax, baby. You and me and Hank are gonna have ourselves a nice, cozy trip.
I'll take care of the fall lines. You take care of the stiffs. After we get underway, we'll hit that lifeboat right in the middle.
How can we see him in the dark?
Yeah, take a look. Ain't gonna be dark long. Get those boilers working. The faster we move, the better.
The sooner we split that stinking lifeboat in half, the easier I'll breathe.
When the pressure's up to 225 pounds, let me know. That's when we'll take off.
I'm going with you, Skipper. I was a pretty good swimmer my day.
Suppose there's nothing that I can say will stop you.
You'd have to knock me cold first, sir.
Nobody could climb up that line. Nobody.
What about the propeller? It's a cinch they'll get on her way as fast as they can. Those two guys could run that ship alone, all right.
Sure they could, with everything being automatic the way it is today.
Does anyone have a better idea? We're miles away from any trade lane. With the emergency radio equipment gone, our chances of being picked up are pretty slim.
Skipper, don't fire that gun while it's wet.
I'll shake it out first.
Yeah, in the war, a buddy of mine said the same thing. The gun blew a hole right through his gut.
We had to fight against the wind, a high sea, treacherous current, and water that was paralyzingly cold.
Hey, Leroy! After the pressure gets up to 225, I'll go to the bridge and take the wheel. You handle the engine.
After we get rid of the lifeboat, what then?
Take this out to a trade lane, waterlogger, then wait to be picked up. After that, kid, we'll split $1 million.
Pringle kept dropping further and further behind. It was obvious that he was in trouble, yet I didn't dare to go back for him.
I'm okay. How you doing?
Well, take a look. It's about 150.
Pringle had disappeared from sight. I couldn't call the lifeboat for help. If I did, my voice would also carry to the Berwind. That could be fatal. I could see it was futile trying to find the man. The one dive I took cost me my gun. It slipped from our belt. To search longer could cost the life of every man in the lifeboat.
You better hop to it. By the time you get to the wheelhouse, she'll be ready.
We're gonna have to make a circle of about 2 miles before we can turn back and ram that lifeboat.
Yeah. at 225.
Okay, let's go.
I knew he'd kill me. He was just a man.
Where do they keep the knives?
In the top drawer.
One of the men must be on the bridge there in the engine room.
Yes, Scott's in the wheelhouse. Leroy's below.
It's not going to help us much, not against bullets he wants. But it's better than nothing. I could try storming the wheelhouse.
But Scott's got that high-powered rifle. He's got it with him.
I'd have to take him by surprise. That'd be almost impossible in the wheelhouse. Easier to get the drop on Martin.
Yeah, besides, Martin's only got a revolver, and he's scared. You'll have a better chance with him.
Try their own tactics. They must have sneaked up on the engine room crew through the propeller alley. We'll find a place in here for you to hide. You'll be safe from this turn. This place is as good as any. Stay in there and hide.
No, don't try it. There must be some other way. If you could only figure out some kind of an ambush, you'd have a chance.
It's too late for that now.
Well, maybe I can trick Leroy. Get his gun or something.
Do as I say. Go in there and close the door after you.
Oh, don't try it.
Like this.
I wouldn't want anything to do with him. Not even for half the dough.
What dough? What dough?
Skip it.
What do you mean half the dough? What dough?
I said skip it.
Come here. Come here. He was talking about the salvage money. He promised you some of that?
I'm not saying anything.
You was talking about the salvage money. He promised you part of his share? Or was it part of my share? Was it? Okay, sweetheart. I get the message.
Look, if you really want to know, he's just keeping you on ice.
So that's the score, huh?
Why don't you beat him to the punch?
What do you think I'm gonna do?
Then all the dough is yours. Except my share.
Except your share. Why do I have to give you part of the dough?
Buy my silence.
I don't have to buy that.
No. You could kill me.
Yeah, I could. There's lots of women.
Yeah. But I'm a special one.
Shouldn't have done that, baby.
She's turning back toward us.
It sure looks that way.
Guess the skipper and the mate have won out.
No bullets. I told you not to try.
But what chance would you have had with him with that gun?
They're coming down!
Bravo! Looks like this is it for one of us.
Does, doesn't it?
You're no match for me without that knife.
I'm not going to throw it away to find out.
Bravo! You're no sailor. You're like the rest of those pantyweights on luxury liners. Cocktail parties, watercress sandwiches, and pink teas. That's your racket.
Looks like it's going to be your brawn against my brain, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Can't think why the skipper's bearing down on us this way.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
She's doing a good 14 knots.
She sure got a bone in her teeth.
Where's your gun, Scott?
I wasn't expecting company.
Why don't you go up and get it?
I just might.
Think you can pick it up and fire before I'm on top of you with this?
I'd rather take you with my bare hands, knife or no knife.
Why don't you try it, Scott?
I'm going to.
Or you better pull ahead. Ready, all? She missed us. What about her weight?
We'd never stay afloat in the kind of weight that propeller's kicking up.